Carrie Masters, where did you come from? How did you end up here?
Ooh. Here on the planet, or here
Well,
tonight,
like
or
just
here
you can
with
start
Homeless ID
wherever
Project?
you want to. You can start wherever you want to start, and go however, whichever direction kind of you want to go.
All right.
I've got some prepared questions from
Oh gosh,
ChatGPT,
you guys,
just in case
help
you
me.
need to go to that.
Help me out. I'm a native. I grew up homeless. My parents were addicted to drugs for, well, my whole life. My dad ended up in prison when I was 10, and then my mom left in the middle of the night when I was 14. So, why am I here? One is I carry a really deep empathy for individuals that are struggling with barriers. I lived it, and I love the people who have those barriers. But I'm also the CEO of St. Joseph the Worker. And Homeless ID is such an important partner of ours where if we didn't have them, we would not be able to send individuals to get two forms of ID, which you need to get a job, and you also need to get quality housing or any housing, right? And there's so many other things that you need to have an ID for. But Rick, the executive director of Homeless ID, was the first person to reach out to me when I started at St. Joseph the Worker. Kind, supportive, great mentor, and sort of like took me under his wing. So it was really a no-brainer. I was kind of like, Rick, are you going to ask me to join the board, or do I have to ask you? Like, how does this work? But I'm very passionate about the work that Homeless ID does. We're a small but mighty impact in the community, and if Homeless ID went away, that would be a detrimental impact in the community, not only for the individuals that we serve, but for the individuals that a lot of other nonprofits serve. So that is why I'm here. And how cool that I get to sleep outside with all these amazing human beings that care about our community and supporting those in need.
I love it. So tell us a little bit about St. Joseph the Worker and their work.
Yeah.
And how they, this is, Carrie is part of what I would call the community that serves the homeless. She's part of that community. She's an integral part of that community. She's the executive director for St. Joseph the Worker. What does that mean? What does St. Joseph the Worker do? What kind of a difference do they make in this space?
Well, I'll tell you this, we just wrapped up our fiscal year and we had almost 11,000 moments of impact. That's wild, right? When you think about that many visits to our office from individuals that need our support. So what do? We provide pathways to self-sufficiency with employment at the core. And so what that means is that we are connecting individuals experiencing barriers to quality employment. $18 or more an hour, full-time, and offering benefits. We do not do staffing agencies or day labor. We're really focused on getting them into long-term career jobs. And we also have housing for the working. So for individuals that are working, and maybe they've hit a rough patch, right? We will put them in our housing for 90 days rent-free and allow them that 90-day break to truly just focus on work and save 80% of their paycheck in their own bank account so that they can get a lease in their own name upon graduation. The average client saves about $5,500 during that 90-day period.
Wow.
And, to think that they're doing that with their own hard-earned money, the pride that they have and the care that they take when they graduate and get that lease, it's truly beautiful. And that's what we do. We've been doing it for almost 40 years here in the Valley.
And so I know of St. Joseph the Worker, but what it strikes me is your organization goes out and makes relationships in the business community.
We do.
Where there are jobs available, at least $18 an hour, and benefits, right?
Yep.
A good working environment, and that they want to work with this population as well.
Yep.
Is that what
That is true. So, Chris, that is what we call our preferred business partners. Kind of an easy way to think about that is we're a recruiter, right? So we're going to be an advocate for that business. We go into those businesses. We want to understand their leadership, their culture, and outside of a job description, what are they really looking for? And so when we are placing individuals over we kind of have this feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
How's Chris doing on the job? And then we check in on Chris, right? And so it creates a holistic wraparound support system for the client, but it's also providing quality candidates to local businesses that need it. And so yes, we work with, we'll call them second chance employers.
Right.
They're employers that are open to hiring individuals that may come with some barriers, but they're also dedicated to paying a more livable wage.
I love it. I love it. So let's go to ChatGPT.
Let's do this.
You are on the board of directors for the Homeless ID Project.
And very proud of it. That is correct.
So what made you choose to serve on that board, and what keeps you engaged and involved? You
Yep.
probably covered a lot of that, but I'm going to give you a
Yeah.
softball.
Yeah, no, I love it. Again, I think when I realized the impact that Homeless ID would have if they were no longer here on just the clients that we serve.
So your clients cannot go get a job
Right.
unless they have an ID.
Yes.
The only thing, as Rick said, the only thing you can get without an ID is arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
You literally cannot, you have to have 2 forms of ID to get a job. You also have to have identification to get housing. And so truly we see about 500 people a month in our office.
Wow.
I would say probably 50 to 100 of that 500 a month I'm sending over to Homeless ID because they're coming in because they do not have 2 forms of ID. So we will give them a bus pass and direct them over to your guys' office. And when I think about how important that is to us and the individuals we serve, I was like, it was a no-brainer. Like I want to be an ambassador and an advocate for Homeless ID, and being able to sit on the board was an honor. My relationship with Rick is just a bonus. I just think that he's an absolutely gem of a human being, and they don't make him like him very often. And so I just feel honored to be on the board, and so that's why I'm on the board.
You know, and so it's hard to imagine if you're not homeless, but actually, I take it back. It's not that hard to imagine, because you think about it. If you are homeless, you probably have lost everything. You don't have a filing cabinet that you go to in your home to get your birth certificate to say, oh, I got to get a driver's license. From what I've heard, if you're on the street for any given period of time, you probably have lost whatever ID that you had.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so to end that homelessness, it's an insurmountable hurdle. Okay, 2 forms of ID. You're homeless. You got to go get 2 forms of ID.
Yep.
Okay, well, how are you going to get them? Where are you going to have them mailed to? Oh wait, you got a copy fee. Okay, you got this. Oh, now you need to get down to the DMV office and get a state ID, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's inconvenient when we have to go do that ourselves.
Absolutely.
But I have a filing cabinet that I can go to.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a car I can drive in. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think about it. I'll go back to my childhood, and maybe times are different. My daughter's well into her 20s now, but I remember, we lived in abandoned homes and abandoned cars. We lived in the youth mom shelter, really anywhere my mom could find a place for us to lay our head that night. And so we bebopped a lot in different schools, and you need to have identification for your kids, birth certificates or something, to
go to
enroll your
school.
kids to school.
Right.
And my mom struggled with that so much. I just remember, we would go months without going to school because of that. Matter of fact, I think I would have been, if I didn't skip a grade, thankfully, because of my grandpa advocating for me, I would have been 21 years old when I graduated high school. And not because I was held back, but because my mom couldn't send me. So identification is much greater than just a job or housing. It goes much deeper into that. And I know you guys see it at your office.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. So if you're a business owner, right, or an employer, how can they get involved to be part of the solution? Or if someone out there says, hey, I want to just be able to help with St. Joseph the Worker, where do they go? How do they get involved?
Yep. There's so many ways you can get involved. I think some of the obvious ones that people I think the first and foremost thing they think of is donations. And of course, we can't do what we do without donations. But there's plenty of opportunity to volunteer. Um, be an advocate, right? Just spreading awareness is another avenue. And then for the local businesses, if you're struggling to, you know, get quality talent, and you're open to hiring individuals that may have some barriers in their background, you can call 602-755-JOBS. So that's 602-755-JOBS. Go to any of our social media channels or our website. And really all we require is that you pay your people 18 or more an hour, 40 hours a week, and you offer benefits. And upward mobility, right? Those are the important pieces. And that's really all we require to become a preferred business partner. Super simple. And if you're unsure what you want to do or how to do it, let's have a conversation. I'm sure we can find a way. And if there's not a fit at St. Joseph the Worker, Homeless ID Project is a wonderful organization with a lot of volunteer opportunity and direct interaction with clients. And so I'd be happy to invite you on a tour, get you connected to Rick or Chris, and get you settled over there.
So we're doing a sleep out here. You staying out all night?
I am.
You are?
I am.
So earlier in the week you weren't sure you were going to.
Yeah, but I can't, my heart won't let me leave. I think you guys probably knew that already.
I was sure you might not going to leave, but so there was actually something I think you might have been dealing with.
Yes. So yeah, I know where you're getting at. I kind of mentioned it on the call. Yeah, a little PTSD, I think. Having grown up, homeless, and then in extreme poverty, and then becoming a single mom and really struggling for the majority of my adult life. There's what we'll call survival mode that I don't think ever goes away. And so there is a little bit of discomfort, right? And there's a lot of feelings and emotions that come up putting myself back in this. But the key things that kind of are with me tonight are, one, I have my beautiful daughter out here with me, and so she gets to experience something so amazing with me tonight. But I get a choice. I'm allowed to say if I want to be here or not. But there are thousands of individuals that are out on the streets tonight that don't have that choice. And I am willing to sacrifice that on their behalf to bring awareness.
How many homeless people do you think are in the Valley of the Sun area, Phoenix, metropolitan
I feel like I don't even want to guess, but I can say thousands. I know it.
Well, I think we could easily say thousands. I mean, there's a point in time count that they do and that is published in the newspaper.
Yep.
So a lot of people kind of gravitate to that. Do you know what the most recent point in time count was?
I actually don't, but I did have a conversation about it recently at the Piper Academy. There was a bunch of nonprofits there, and this came up. And one of the biggest things is that for any individual that's been a part of that point in time count, it's only as accurate as the individuals that you happen to see while you're outside doing it.
Right.
But that is not accurately capturing everyone, right? So we know
it doesn't capture everyone.
I mean,
as Rick talks about oftentimes, couch surfing is homeless.
It is.
And so sometimes people, they might have some sort of a government check, or they might be getting some sort of a small check every month. They've got money for a few nights in a hotel, a very low rent motel or something, where they can, they can get a shower and they can get out of the elements for a couple nights during the month. And so it misses a lot of those people. I know a couple years ago we did over 15,000 documents in 1 year, and every year after year, I think the next year we did 13,000. This year looks like we're going to do over 15,000. I know we're not reaching all of the people.
Right.
I think 3 years ago in Maricopa County, Rick says there were 44,000 families evicted from their homes. And so for a lot of the people, if you're evicted from a home, nobody wants to rent you a place.
Right.
That you're kind of stuck. If you don't have family, you're at the end and you're out.
Absolutely.
for a lot of those people. So I don't know that all of those people ended up homeless. Um, it's really hard
They're
to know.
experiencing some sort of housing insecurity, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and you know,
And that's families, 44,000 families.
right.
Yeah.
It's a sad, you know, it's sad to think about it. It's really interesting when I think about being in the situation, because we were a family of 6 homeless.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And off and on for 14 years. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
To endure that. And, you know, unfortunately, my brothers are homeless today, but they wouldn't have been captured likely in that point in time count, because one of them will couch surf whoever he can meet out each night that might allow him a bed that night. He's going to go, right? And another one battles heavily with a fentanyl addiction. And he may be seen and then not seen again for a month, and it's because he's hiding out or you know, bebopping around different parts of town. But I guess my point in sharing that is, like, there's a deeper reality than what any data is really going to capture and you're going to read online.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see a lot of that reality.
I do.
Yeah. So how many people do you have employed inside your organization? Just to give a sense. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. We have 2 offices. We have one in Central Phoenix and one in Mesa, right off of Dobson in Maine. I have 25 employees split between the 2 offices.
So that's a nice organization. It's not huge.
Yep.
It's not a huge organization. And how many people you place in jobs? You said 11,000 people impacted.
Yep. So we see about 4, depending on the month, 400 to 500 people a month
That get placed in jobs.
that will come in for our services. So what that means is they're coming in for some kind of support. Sometimes they're not work ready because they need an ID, or maybe they actually need shelter, or maybe there's some other support system they need. And so we will partner with other nonprofits, obviously Homeless ID, the Fort Greene Project, which I'm wearing, and a bunch of other that are here tonight supporting us. We give them an employment plan. And what that is based on the human being, wherever they're at that day, and wherever they want to be, right? We're going to create that plan for them. And sometimes it requires some steps that aren't going to get them the job that week. They have some other legwork that they need to do, but we're going to support them on that journey of getting there through not only support from the staff, but financial support from transportation lens, an advocacy lens. Sometimes it's clothes, shoes, you know, there's
So if people
many
need
different
certain
things.
uniforms or need certain types of clothes, you help them to get that.
We do. So we do professional resume writing, mock interviews. We train them on how to use a computer, then how to do what they just learned on the computer on their phone, because they walk away and that's what they're using.
Right.
We will help them with their interview clothes, and then when they get the job, we're helping them with uniform or whatever attire they need to show up ready on their first day, transportation through their first paycheck, tools, maybe they need food handler's card, level 1 fingerprint card, whatever they need to show up on day 1 and get through to their first paycheck, we're providing that for them.
So we've got a few more viewers out there. That's exciting. Hey folks, if you're watching this, I'm asking you to share this. Share this on your social media feed. If you've got questions, we'd love to have you ask those questions on the Facebook feed here. This is your opportunity, the residents of Phoenix. This is what's happening in the homeless community.
Yes.
Yeah, so Carrie, thanks for coming here. Thanks for being a part of the board.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here, and I wish I could scream to you all that we probably have a good 20 to 30 people out here tonight that made a choice to show up, to bring awareness to a problem here in the community. As you guys know, it's hot.
It's warm.
We're sitting out here and
It's warm.
it's hot, and you know I want to whine about it. I do. My natural self wants to be like, It's hot. But you know what? How dare I? Because there's individuals that are out there tonight that they don't have the luxury to say that because they have no other choice, and that is exactly why you and I are sitting here tonight.
Yeah.
Is to bring awareness to that.
So,
Issue.
what do you want people to take away from the sleep out? I mean, what do you want to accomplish? We're doing a sleep out.
Yep. Really, what I hope it does is what it did for me, right? Is it allows you a moment to take a step back and think about, one, how blessed you are in your life that you have an air-conditioned home and a bed to go to, lay down at night, and then you get to wake up and you get to take a fresh shower, and you also get to pick out what clothes you're going to wear that are clean, and
and you get a hot cup of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we take so much for granted
Absolutely.
in our life.
I think the big thing is thinking about that and then realizing that there are 1,000 individuals that don't have that luxury. And if we all came together as a community, we could help solve it. But it's going to take the community coming together in a real way. And so really, I think that that's the message we're trying to get across. And then also realizing that Homeless ID is a support system to not only the community, but so many nonprofits rely on their partnership. And, they do not get government funding. They are very small and mighty and totally run off of donation dollars. So every dollar truly counts with Homeless ID. And we just ask that if you've got it in your heart to, hit
We
that
would
donate
love to
button.
have. I'm going to move. I got
We
the
would love
light
the
right behind
donations.
me. There we go.
Do I need
Just
to
like
move
that. No, I just blocked. There was a light coming right behind. There it is, right there.
Oh,
See?
got
If
the
I
orbs
lean,
coming.
If I lean like that right there. Yeah, folks, listen. The Homeless ID Project, St. Joseph the Worker, we don't take any public funding. So this is all money that's raised by the community, by private individuals, businesses that are concerned about the community. But, there is an interesting thing called the state tax credit.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for just a couple minutes.
Let's do
If you
it.
happen to be watching this, I talk to people, hey, do you use your state tax credit? And a lot of people, especially if they have kids in school, they say, oh yeah, I give it to my school every year. I give it to my kid's school.
Yep.
You ever hear that?
All the time.
I hear that all the time. And then I say, okay, great. How about your qualified charitable? Well, what do you mean? I do it for my kids. Okay, folks, there's actually 4 different state tax credits that every Arizona state taxpayer is able to use.
Yep.
Now, we know statistically that about 95% of the population eligible to utilize a state tax credit doesn't do it.
Yes.
So I know it gets confusing. We say the word taxes and our head spins out and
Yep.
we glaze over and we don't like it. Okay. The state of Arizona, I think there might be 1 or 2 other states that do something similar to this.
We're one of 5 states
1 of 5.
that offers the tax credit, which is amazing. 1 of 5.
So here's how it works. 4 of them in Arizona that you can utilize. You can give money to a public school, to a private school. You can give money to a qualified charitable organization. What that means when I say qualified charitable organization is the Arizona Department of Revenue has on their website, they have a list of qualified charitable organizations that qualify for this tax credit. And then you can also, the 4th tax credit is to a foster child, a qualifying foster child organization. And so the Homeless ID Project, St. Joseph the Worker, is part of the Qualified Charitable Organization tax credit.
No.
Okay, so here's what happens. Do you know what the exact number is? I know it indexed up just a little bit this year.
I don't know the exact number. Oh, you mean for donations?
That tax credit.
Tax credit,
for the-
900 and what's the numbers, Rick, for
This year it's
individual?
$495. I call that $500, and it's $982 for joint filers. I call that $1,000.
So folks, this is money that you can direct. This is tax dollars that you're sending down to the State Department of Revenue. And Arizona allows you to say, hey, wait a minute, I want to support this organization over here. I like what they're doing. The Homeless ID Project, if you go down in the comments of this live feed, there's a pinned comment, there's a link right there. You can make your donation. We'd love to have your Arizona state tax credit to be able to continue doing the work that we're doing.
Yeah, and I'll just add to it, I think, you know, sometimes the scary part is like, but I don't owe money. But you don't have to owe money to take advantage of the credit. So you could think about it as if you gave a certain dollar amount every month that added up to that 500 if you're an individual. Even if you don't owe money, you'll still get that 500 back, or the 495,
Yeah,
right?
you're going to get the money back. You'll get all of it
You
back.
get it all back, and then there's a form that you need to submit with your taxes. What Homeless ID does and what St. Joseph the Worker does is we actually fill that form out for you, and we mail it to you with your tax receipt. So literally all you have to do is take it with you when you file. Or if you do your own taxes, there's a little code on there. You just input that code and everything's filled out. So we've made it very simple if that's what's holding you back. But you do not have to owe to take advantage. And you don't have to give it all at once. You can spread it out over the entire year.
Yep.
So if you've got any questions and you're like, I've always wanted to do it, or I've done it before and I didn't do it right, or whatever that is, know that you can reach out and I'd be happy to walk you through that process to give you more comfort. Whether you decide to use it for St. Joseph the Worker or not, I'm happy to help.
Carrie, you're awesome. I love your commitment.
Who
to
else
making a
can I bring
difference.
over and
How
have
about
hang
Greg
out with you?
Halverson? Bring over Greg Halverson.
You got it. Bye, y'all.